New York Magazine calls her the queen of beach reads, and for a very good reason. Elin Hilderbrand has written 27 novels, all of them bestsellers. Think about that for a second. All of them.
Every single one.
Yeah, I did not stutter. She is a badass. Most are based on Nantucket Island off the Massachusetts coast. Hilderbrand's breezy storylines and sandy beaches inspire her legions of fans. Starting today, they'll get a chance like us to meet her in person. She's at the table as pandemic restrictions ease up. She's beginning a 13-stop book tour, but right now she's starting it with us. Elin Hilderbrand's latest novel is called Golden Girl, and she joins us at the table. Good morning, Golden Girl. That really could be you, by the way.
Thank you. Good morning, guys.
So great to have you here at the table.
It really is. It really is. To touch you, to hug you. We're all vaccinated. I'm so glad to see you. But I have to talk about this book, Elin, because I was deeply affected by it. I'll tell you why in just a second. When my mom died, Oprah did the eulogy. And in the eulogy, she said, "Now, Gayle, you have an angel in heaven who knows your name." Her name is Peggy King, who's looking out for you. In this book, you have the main character dies very early on. I'm not giving anything away. And she's up in heaven looking down. And I often wondered, can they really see us when they're up there looking down? And I thought that that was an odd question, but you answer it so beautifully in the book. And it really is inspired by things that had happened in your life, too. Losing someone very close to you.
That's right. So the genesis of this book came from two places. I lost my father in a plane crash when I was 16 years old. And that was
shocking, yeah.
Devastating, tragic. And ever since then, I've always sort of felt his hand on my back. In fact, he's watching me now saying, "Elle nailed the interview."
Yeah.
And then 29 years later, as you know, I was battling breast cancer, and I got very, very sick. I had an infection in my blood, and I was in the hospital on last line, hospital strength antibiotics, and I had to be flown in a helicopter from Nantucket to Boston Medical Center, and the nurse at the hospital said, "You probably should say goodbye to your kids."
Wow.
So I had a friend go get them out of school, brought them to my hospital room, and I said to them, "You guys, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I can tell you one thing. I will never leave you."
What did you mean by that?
So I really wasn't sure what I meant by that.
Yeah.
And then this book, Golden Girl, is an exploration of what I meant by that.
And your dedication to my children, Maxwell, Dawson, and Shelby, I will never leave you.
Yep.
Takes on a whole different meaning once you read the book.
And you're here looking like a golden girl, very golden indeed. You mark summer. Your presence here marks summer for so many people. The arrival of your new novel. This character has a lot in common with you, so much so that I wonder what parts are not you.
Good question.
Well, I like to say Vivi is way cooler than I am. She handles
She's a
her...
best-selling author.
She is a best-selling author. I was able to use a lot of like the fun details of being a novelist. You know, there's some professional jealousy in there. There's like the struggle like with the New York Times book review. And then the touring part, she goes on tour. She's a newly single mom, and being away from her kids is really difficult. So I got to talk about that. I got to talk about the parenting of young adults, which is very challenging, and she handles it so beautifully.
Meanwhile, the New York Times calls this your 27th book, your best book, which must feel amazing.
It does. I mean, in theory, I believe when authors are writing one a year like I am, every book should get better because you grow as a person.
Right.
You know, your craft, I'm constantly reading, and your craft should get better.
But I would think actually that coming up with the ideas year after year and the pressure of that must be really heavy.
Yes, it's awful. In fact, I always say, like, my job is to do exactly the same thing every year, completely differently.
But this is very different, though. So here's Vivi. She's up in heaven. It's weird because she's telling the story in real time. She's dead. She's no longer with us. She's telling the story in real time. She has a viewing window that she can look. There are nudges where she gets to come back and help people. She only gets 3 of them. And what rattled me about this book is Vivi is waiting for her first grandchild, as am I, in September. Vivi's a good person, and she dies early on.
I know.
And I was so rattled by that, Ellen.
I know.
I don't want to be scared when I'm reading a book. Certainly not a beach read.
It feels unfair.
It doesn't. But life isn't fair sometimes.
But life isn't fair. And
What's the message you're sending?
Well, I wanted people who read the book to feel like a lot of us, most of us, have lost someone.
Yes. Yes.
before their time. And so for those people, I wanted them to feel a sense of comfort, a sense of optimism, and a sense of joy. When you read the book, I mean, what happens in the beyond in my book is very comforting, and it's hopeful.
Also, the way you talk about food. I wanted to go to the Nickel, this restaurant. Deviled egg with crispy bacon on lamb's
menu.
lettuce on a toasted olive sourdough roll.
Okay.
Or grilled salmon. And Anthony's like, okay.
It's mostly just food.
Wait a second.
Look at
Grilled salmon, fresh spinach with raspberry dill aioli
What's for dessert?
on a brioche roll.
How's the coffee, though?
Oh my God. I just thought, is that a real place?
It's not. I
You
love
just made that
sandwiches.
up?
Yeah, I'm a sandwich queen.
Oh
among
my
other
God,
things.
that was
I
so
love
That's
good.
great.
You've talked pretty openly about potentially retiring from novel writing after 3 more novels.
I don't
Yes.
believe it.
Is a cookbook in your future?
I hope so. I hope so. That would definitely be something post-retirement, though, because I'm way too busy now. But people ask all the time.
Is this a retirement really a hard wall? You're really going to like.
I hope so. I hope to set a model. I want to go out on top. So
But in the meantime, you're going out on an in-person book tour.
Yeah.
How exciting that must
I'm
be.
thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
You're not nervous being out there with the people?
Oh, not at all.
No.
I had 200 people.
Some of them won't be
yesterday.
vaccinated.
I know. Well, they take their chances.
They're taking their chances because
Yeah.
you're saying you are vaccinated.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And your daughter, last time you were here, Shelby, for the first time, your only daughter, youngest daughter, had read one of your books. The boy, your son still haven't. Did Shelby read this one?
Shelby read Golden Girls,
And?
gave it a thumbs up. She was trying to figure out which character was her.
Yeah, 'cause
that was
there's
what,
3 kids.
She's 15. That's what she was concerned about.
But back to what Anthony said about the New York Times. This sweeping love story is her best ever. Her stories are relatable and aspiration. Her attention to detail is what makes characters feel like living, breathing people you want to know. Bravo.
Bravo. And do
Bravo.
better next
Thank you.
year somehow.
I know. Somehow we'll try.
Top that, Elin
Thank
Hilderbrand.
you.
This should be a movie.
Yeah. Oh, my God. For sure.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Fingers
100%.
crossed.
It should be a movie. Elin Hilderbrand, we thank you. Good luck out on the road.
Thank you, guys.
Cheering you on always. Golden Girls on sale today, wherever you like to buy your books.